All right. Here we go. We are back for Roundtable Rams, episode number 22. I am once again joined by Billy, Melissa, and Buddy. We're going to talk all about Rams football. And since I forgot to do this on our other pod at the beginning of the hour, I will do this right now. If you guys like what you hear, please do us all a favor. Go like, go subscribe, go share this, do all the social media things that you need to do. Comment, engage with us, engage with me rather, because I like talking crap about football. And yeah, I will respond back and do all those good things. Please, it helps us get exposure, all that good stuff. And in the link of the description of this video, you can go there to join the official Roundtable Rams site where we offer news, analysis, all that good stuff. We are not just a weekly podcast. There are articles and things to take a look at and read if that is your jam. Please do so. But other than that, let's just jump right into it. The Rams had quite a bit of a surprise there on Thursday. It was announced that Sean McVay is canceling minicamp. This is not like that crazy in the sense of like, I know that a lot of coaches tend to do this. Rather, they end minicamp early or they give their players a day or two extra off, what have you. But it is a little confusing to me only because of maybe it's because the lack of rookies that have come in via the draft. There was only 5 players, but I do feel like this could have been a moment, or rather, the time in which they could have used to further see what Ty Simpson has to offer. I'll just say that. That's kind of like my negative on the situation, if you will. Right now, Matthew Stafford was shut down. He hasn't played in minicamp and he hasn't played in OTAs for a bit, simply because for the longevity and his age, they want him to be fresh, which also makes total sense because of the back issues and all the, multiple things that he's had to deal with over the past few years. But this has given Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson the chance to get out there and play a little bit more. And I felt like they should have continued to do that, especially with Ty Simpson. If we're throwing a big if out here because we do not know if 2026 is going to be the last year that Matthew Stafford is playing, wouldn't you want Ty Simpson to be out there with as the presumed successor?
Yeah, for me, I was thinking about it and I was like, on the one hand, cool, you're protecting your players, but on the other hand, like it's a space for chemistry to be built in a low stakes environment. Maybe you don't get on the field, maybe you don't want to do that, maybe you could just meet and gather. And I don't know if they've already had a chance to do that. But they would benefit from that. But I mean, maybe McVay trusts his players to do that without his watchful eye. And I don't think in the long term, like this is going to have a huge impact on the Rams, but it's more of like a mentality thing. And like, if you're really all in on winning the Super Bowl this year, don't you think it would be a good idea, even just to come together and be like, right, guys, here's the vision for the year. See you in June. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I mean, well, okay. I'll say this as real quick before you jump in real quick. Is it could be a testament because a lot of times when the offseason program goes so well, again, coaches cancel it because they're like, there's kind of really no point. And as we've said in our other pods, that as everybody knows, it does not matter until the pads come on anyway, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, yeah, like it's not really unusual, like you said, James. This season it might be because I think this would be the first time that Sean McVay and the Rams do something like this. But then again, this is a team that doesn't play any of their starters or significant or impactful players in the preseason, right? And we know how it was made such a big deal when Sean McVay first came on, and then now it's a trend where most teams, at least most contenders, don't play their starters at all in preseason, right? So, Sean McVay, the Rams, they know what they're doing in this sense, right? Sure, yeah, like you would want to see Ty Simpson, do his thing and, build more chemistry with the team and whatnot. Essentially speaking, this team's kind of the same, right? Obviously, you had Myles Garrett, you had Trent McDuffie and whatnot, but the core pieces are still there, right? Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford and whatnot. Like the offense for the most part is still the same. The defense, just a little bit of tweaks. I mean, they're only one of 3 teams who did cancel minicamp. And oddly enough, it is the 49ers who are going to face week 1 in Melbourne. That might have to do something with it, maybe. And then the other is the Seattle Seahawks, both in their division, right? Yeah, I think that might have to do something with it. I'm not really sure unless, I mean, it is a copycat league in a way, right? So they're probably, all right, well, if you guys are not going to do it and it's their two biggest rivals, we're not going to do it either. I don't know, something like that.
Meanwhile, the cards are cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it could be that too, because obviously all three of these teams usually play meaningful football anyway. So it's like if you can get them a little bit extra rest and allow them to go on their little mini vacation before training camp and the real season begins, why the hell not, right? But my only thing, like I said, was just the Ty Simpson angle of it. Like, okay, well, you need this guy to be out there. You need to see a little bit more from him, which kind of leads into the next topic here. That's also very surprising. It's not dead set. Obviously, we know Sean McVay can often say things like, well, we're not talking about it, but that's not to say it's going to happen. He always does that, which a lot of coaches do. It's coach speak, we know. But he did indicate that the team is not even talking remotely about adding a veteran quarterback option. This feels kind of like a mistake to me simply because, like, yeah, you got Stetson Bennett and you got Ty Simpson then that are going to be battling out for the backup quarterback position. The hope would be that you see enough in Ty Simpson to give him that position. But if something does go wrong with Matthew Stafford, is Ty Simpson really going to be ready to go out there and lead this team? Same thing with Stetson Bennett. We know what Stetson Bennett is. We've seen Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett has come in relief and not been that great. So, obviously Sean McVay talked about him through OTAs and minicamp, or, OTAs rather, and said that he sees real strides from him. He's running the huddle, yada, yada, X, Y, and Z. But, look, I'll say this. Jimmy Garoppolo is still there. He hasn't fully retired, right? So, I mean, if push comes to shove, they probably could call him and he probably would come back if he needed to. So maybe that's something they keep in their back pocket. But as it stands right now, it appears that Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson are going to be battling it out for that backup quarterback position.
As he should be. He's a first round pick and he better be ready if Matthew Stafford goes down to step on in. This is what they got him for. This is what they, had everyone rolling their eyes over on draft day. He better be ready if Matthew Stafford goes down. That's his job now. I personally think, their plan is to go to the Super Bowl with the reigning MVP and win. And I don't think they have any other vision other than that. And I don't think that if Stafford goes down, either one of those quarterbacks is going to take them to the Super Bowl. And I don't really think a veteran quarterback is going to take them either. I think that they, are planning, quite frankly, that if Stafford goes down, he goes down. But I think that they're planning on him not doing that. He's been resilient throughout his career. He's been solid. I don't think they're planning for failure. And why dig yourself into another? Not that it's like going to cost you a massive amount, but why not save that extra money that it's going to cost and use it next year where it could be, more beneficial?
I would like to jump in here real quick and say Nick Foles would like a word because he was a backup quarterback.
Hey, look.
Won the Super Bowl. Thank you very much.
I love him, and I love that story.
Yeah.
And it's rare. And I don't think...
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't think, personally, unless they're calling down Joe Flacco's door, that any veteran quarterback is taking him...
Yeah.
I'll take Jimmy G over Joe Flacco any day. I'm sorry.
Sorry, which one of them has won a Super Bowl?
Well, okay, yeah, like 20 years ago.
Which one of them's got
a
Super Bowl MVP? Not Jimmy G.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
How dare you? That was a while ago. By the way, I'm not a Jimmy G supporter. I'm just saying, like, he knows the system.
Yeah, right.
That's all I'm saying.
No, that's very true. I mean, also too, like, is Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson enough? I mean, we don't know yet, right? I mean, like I said it recently. If Stafford goes down, there goes the chances of the Rams winning a Super Bowl. It goes from as high of a odds they could possibly get, which is what, plus 600 odds, to they have no shot. There's no way. It's if Matthew Stafford's healthy and upright, he's good. If he's not, they're donezo. Veteran quarterbacks available right now, it's not that good. You have Josh Dobbs. You have three quarterbacks who are actually with the Rams in John Wolford, Brett Rippon, and Bryce Perkins. Brett Rippon literally is dead to me. It was just horrible. Seeing him week 6, 2022, Green Bay Packers, that was just literally the worst quarterback performance I've seen of any starting quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, God.
And then you have Desmond Ridder and you have Cooper Rush. Those are just a couple that that I saw. I was like, okay, maybe this could work out. But yeah, Billy, you're right. It's literally Matthew Stafford or bust. I mean, like none of these veteran quarterbacks, maybe outside of Jimmy Garoppolo, could like maybe hang, right? And even so, like Jimmy Garoppolo's future is still in question, right? These guys, I'm like, no, absolutely not. And yeah, you're right. Ty Simpson better be ready, right? You selected him first round, right? I mean, like this is the guy you envision to be your franchise quarterback after Matthew Stafford leaves. It's that simple. That's why you took him. That's why you guys were able to accept that ridicule. That criticism you guys did on this whole massive damage control run, right, for Ty Simpson, because you guys believe that he is the guy. So if Matthew Stafford goes down, whether it's for a week, whether it's for a couple weeks, whether it's for the entire season, Ty Simpson better win the job. And me and James, I think James wrote about it in one of our columns or in one of our articles. I certainly did, right? Ty Simpson better be the backup quarterback. If he's not the backup quarterback, something's wrong there. If Stetson Bennett beats you out, this guy who has had trouble off the field troubles, not really like really trouble, but he had to step away from the team for a while, right? Because he was going through some stuff and he just never has panned out to even be a backup. If this guy beats Ty Simpson out for the backup, which I don't expect, but if he does that, there's going to be a lot of conversations like, this is a guy you guys picked 13 overall to be the successor to Matthew Stafford, a potential first ballot Hall of Famer, or at least Hall of Famer. Like, there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations if that happens. I don't expect that to happen. Ty Simpson should be the backup. And not once, but maybe if Stafford goes down, I expect Ty Simpson to come in and, I don't know about balling out, but I mean, I expect him to be competent at least.
Yeah, I mean those are all very good points, but you also have to look at it too. Like they may not be even attempting to rush him into anything. He may not even, if he doesn't get that backup quarterback position. Look at it this way: they're like, all right, he's still a little rough around the edges, but you still have Matthew Stafford signed through to the 2027 season anyway. I know everyone's assuming that he's not going to be the starting quarterback next season, but that also gives you that little bit of a blanket to prepare him to be able to do so. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Even if that is the case and they still are going to have him sit behind Stafford for 2 years, Stetson Bennett better not beat you out. That's just what it is right there. If he beats you out of that backup quarterback position, then you're right. You do have a very, very serious problem to look at. But also, too, we can't discount the fact that there are a lot of backup quarterback situations that could be very favorable for the Rams should something happen and it's not Ty Simpson that can come out there and do the thing, or Stetson Bennett. Go and trade for a quarterback. Like, look at the Falcons. You got Michael Penix, you got Tua Tagovailoa. One of those guys can come in too. I'm not saying it's going to be the perfect fit or whatever, but if they need to trade for somebody because they feel like, look, if that does happen, if the worst case scenario happens, Matthew Stafford goes down, he's really hurt, he cannot play, and then you're looking at Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson, whoever is the backup, and you're like, they are not going to get it done either. Go out there and trade for somebody. Obviously, the Rams know how to use their picks, how to use their future picks. We know this. So there's an opportunity there to go and get somebody, Kirk Cousins, if that's the case, or Kyler Murray, if that happens. I don't know, like whatever the case may be, but there are options out there for them to trade for. Not obviously the free agents you listed, like hell no, but I don't know.
But we've said it before. The only way you're going to learn the game and how it feels to be in an NFL game is getting on the field and playing those games. And Ty Simpson can't just learn how to be a quarterback watching Matthew Stafford. He needs to get out there. So if Matthew Stafford goes down, I fully expect that Ty Simpson's the next guy out there and he's going to keep putting those reps in, whether they go well or they don't. I don't really see why they would sign on a veteran quarterback if they intend for Ty Simpson to be their future.
Yeah.
Again,
it is really that simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah.
No, and then also too, I was thinking about it. Like, if the Rams, let's say, do go for a veteran quarterback, whether it is Jimmy G or one of the other guys I listed, or the other couple who are available, I mean, the odd man out is Stetson Bennett. I mean, if they do sign one, that would be 4 quarterbacks. It's really unusual and unrare to have 4 quarterbacks on the depth chart.
Not
right?
if your name's Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But of course they're exception, and their Browns are very weird and dysfunctional. But, for like a competent organization, they usually only have three quarterbacks, and the odd man out would be Stetson Bennett. So yeah, that's just kind of a thought there. For some reason, the Rams like just love keeping him around. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if like he's blackmailing like Les Snead or like what the deal is. But like, I mean, he's going on his fifth year now, and yeah, I mean, like I said, he has yet to even crack like being a backup quarterback, which is why they had to go for Jimmy G and why all these other guys got to run before him. Yeah, it's just weird, but.
I mean, it's really just comes down to him being the practice squad leader. That's really all it is. Like, obviously, you want a guy that knows the system, that even if you cut him, you can re-sign him back to the practice squad anyway. We know what Stetson Bennett is, but I want to jump over to this topic, actually, because it is related to the offense, and it could play a very major, big factor in, the protection for Matthew Stafford and just the season as a whole. Alaric Jackson was arrested. So, an alleged domestic battery incident took place. He was arrested. He got out. But this is going to lead into an investigation from the NFL and the Rams as well. He was suspended in 2024 for 2 games for violating the personal conduct policy for the NFL. And this is eerily similar, but probably a little bit worse per the details of the arrest. We don't need to get into it. You can go look it up online and see what happened. But I'll just give a quick run through. He got into it with an unnamed woman. She apparently got scratched during a tussle for a phone. These are all alleged things that happened, but basically it's not looking good. You can, per the personal conduct policy, I think you can get suspended up to 6 games if whether or not where the NFL rules in on this, but this would be Alaric Jackson's second time. So I expect that the league is going to come down harder on him this time because they suspended him already for 2 games that first time. This is now your second violation of it. This is a really major issue because he's one of these core offensive linemen that really gelled together in 2025 and was a major reason for the success of the Rams offense, with Matthew Stafford not being sacked that many times and also with the run game there. So you lose Alaric Jackson. Potentially, this is just we're guessing right now. We can't really say that he's going to get suspended 6 games. He's going to get suspended 4, 2, whatever. We don't know, but the presumption would be that he's going to get at least the same 2 that he got last time, depending on if this investigation doesn't go his way. So that being said, you have a problem because Alaric Jackson is your left tackle. I would say, thankfully, the Rams did signed David Quessenberry to another 1-year deal, I believe it was. He's a veteran. He stepped in when the guys got hurt last season. He's dependable. And then you have Keegan Trost, who is the lone offensive lineman draft pick, but he's also a rookie. So do you want to put the line in the hands of a rookie starter? That was, I think he was the 6th round or 5th round. I can't remember.
He was in 93rd overall. So that's what, third. Oh,
third. Okay, yeah.
Third round or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, obviously, again, you never know if a 5th or a 3rd or a 6th or whatever can be what you need them to be. But the bottom line is not a good situation at all.
Not good characteristic wise, not good game wise, not good. Full stop. I mean, those first 4 games are competitive. It's the Niners, it's the Giants, which haven't been, but are looking like they're improving. The Broncos, the Eagles, Bills, like those are teams that you're going to need him for. But then I'll say what I said about Ty Simpson. Like, you better hope the next man up is better prepared, better ready to go for this. They've put all their chips in elsewhere on the defense, on fixing holes elsewhere. So if they really thought one guy going down, like unexpected or not, was going to impact them, I think they would have filled that hole, and they're a smart organization. I trust them to have done that. I don't think it's really going to change too much. Obviously, it always hurts when, a starter goes down, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how it pans out.
2024 was not good because 4 of their 5 starters were out, and they went 1-4 in their first 5 games. And obviously, this is only 1 starter. But,
yeah, we're talking 1.
Yeah, but it's a big starter regardless. Like, that line, when those guys get hurt, like you can see the well, what happens during an injury. So yeah, this is a big deal because Alaric Jackson is very good at what he does. But yeah,
Let's
bro.
need better be on the phone then, finding someone to go up behind him because it's a real possibility. And if they're really going all in for this year, like you can't afford to maybe have mistakes in those first few games. Like those are tone setters. Like your first game is against the 49ers. You need to win that one to start your season on a good foot. And then you don't really play another divisional game until week 6, sure, but like those other games matter too.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, obviously, Alaric Jackson's been a core piece to the Rams, especially their offensive line, and he's a left tackle too, right? So, I mean, obviously, that's Matthew Stafford's blind side. I mean, as we all know, you got to keep Matthew Stafford upright. Every quarterback, right? But I mean, I mean, the aspirations and the hopes that the Rams have this season, it's crucial that I mean, it's just imperative that happens, and it's too yeah, like it's too early to tell what is going to happen with Jackson. We can assume, but I mean, maybe best case scenario is another slap on the wrist, and instead, what was it, a 2-game suspension in 2024?
Yeah, it was 2 games.
Yeah, maybe they double that. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that's best case scenario for him. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that department. Yeah, Queensberry, he's 35 years old. Not really sure how much he has left in the tank. And then you have Trost, right? I mean, he spent most of his time in Missouri playing right tackle. I don't know if they would put him in right tackle. I don't know if they would move Warren McClendon to the left tackle, right? Like I don't know how all that would really shuffle. But yeah, I mean, we saw in 2022, how bad that line looked because of injuries, right? And because people missed time. They had their worst season under the Sean McVay era. And then we saw the start in 2024. Like you brought up, James Wright 1-4, and they had to crawl and scratch their way back. Luckily, they ended 9-3 that season, but that's because they got healthy, right? I mean, they hope that doesn't happen again. If they only miss Jackson and that's it, then I mean, like that would be great. But yeah, there's just for this, it's a lot of uncertainty. It does suck. I mean, for it being an offensive lineman, that just hurts even more. For it being a left tackle would be brutal. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait and see in this. And unfortunately for Jackson, it's kind of become a trend, right? So I don't know if he needs like any help or whatnot, but I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he seeks that, and he starts to go in the right direction, and hopefully this is a wake up call for him.
That's the thing, isn't it? You don't want that to be the identity of your team. And so no matter how well you play, we'll speak about it when we get to Myles Garrett, like that's the kind of identity you want to be having, not all of this. So like if he's got to be replaced, he's got to be replaced.
I mean, the Rams have already been dealing with a lot with Puka Nacua, just in general. And, maybe Jackson can get a word in with him and be like, hey, dude, like I need to go to a program or whatever. Cause you're right, buddy. Like this is not the second time and you cannot, the Rams are one of the most disciplined teams in the NFL. And I would say if the NFL doesn't come down hard on him, maybe Sean McVay will instead and be like, you know what? Like you need to learn a lesson here and you need to stop doing this kind of stuff because you are an ambassador for our team, for the look of the organization, so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens, but we have to wait and see. But I think you're right too, Billy. If it comes down to it and the NFL decides to, like you said, buddy, give him a double that, your 4-game suspension. Expect that the Rams may be bringing in some offensive lineman help, probably through training camp, just for those 4 games. And then, obviously whatever happens beyond that is what happens, or whatever the suspension amount will be. But it's, never good for this to happen, especially in a year where all their eggs are in the basket of the Super Bowl. And, it's just it's not great. But on the flip side, all eggs being in the basket of the Super Bowl, let's talk some more Myles Garrett, because why not? Everyone's going to keep talking about Myles Garrett. We're going to keep talking about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett. That's it. All right, moving on. No, I'm kidding. So, Rams legend Eric Weddle had some pretty interesting things to say about the Garrett acquisition. He talked about his own experience coming back out of retirement and he was, very honest about it. And he says his body still hurts from when he came back and that, he was not training. He, excuse me. Oh my God, sorry. he was not training to come back, and this is about Aaron Donald and whatnot. And oh my God, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Not Myles Garrett. I'm talking about Aaron Donald coming back. Eric Weddle. Sorry. So oh my God, I'm so all over the place right now.
Eric's had a lot to say.
He has had a lot to say. Yes. So he was talking about the potential return of Aaron Donald, not Myles Garrett. It does relate to Myles Garrett, but he talked about coming out of retirement himself, and he wasn't training. And as we know, we've seen so many videos of Aaron Donald online looking like a beast. Still, that dude's benching 100-pound free weights in each arm. Like, it's insane. He's in shape. He's always constantly training. I don't know if it's been the purpose of him coming back out of retirement, but there's been a lot said because of Myles Garrett being there in the building and the potential that these guys can play together. I know Adam Schefter, I think it was, that said that more so than not, he's probably going to come out of retirement, but he doesn't really know. Everybody's speculating. Regardless, let's look at it this way. If he does happen to come out of retirement, you have Myles Garrett, you got Aaron Donald. Eric Weddle posed a pretty big warning about it because of the dynamic of the team and the D-line. You still got Braden Fisk, you still got Poona Ford, you got Kobie Turner, you got these really great young guys. Which one of these guys are going to lose playing time if that does happen? Because it's going to happen. And you got to look at it in the sense of how are they going to utilize Aaron Donald? Are they going to use him third down situations? Is he only going to be half the season? He's only going to get 200 to 400 snaps? How is it going to look? But he did say, quote, it's the dynamics of the team and the D-line. Obviously, they're going to welcome him in, but still that's going to be tough on some guys. They're going to lose playing time there. Are they going to be okay with that? It's going to be 3 years from when he last played, so there are a lot of different dynamics. Again, this is a very, very good point. It's a very good thing to consider, especially now that you got Myles Garrett in the building. Myles Garrett is going to change this defense no matter what. They're going to be, in a good way, obviously they're going to be able to scheme. Chris Shula's going to be able to scheme up some crazy stuff for sure, but then if Aaron Donald comes back, how's that going to look? How's that going to change the entire dynamic of the defensive line? And really, who's going to lose playing time? Because somebody will.
Well, you've had your chance to show up, and if you're not fitting in, then you're not fitting in. You've got Myles Garrett in the building, you've got Trent McDuffie. They've redesigned that defense, around this vision that they have of the Super Bowl. And, Eric Weddle was also talking about within that about what Garrett will bring is going to outlast his time there. It's going to be about identity. It's going to be about discipline. It's going to be about leadership, accountability. He's going to teach these younger guys so much. And yeah, people may lose playing time, but that's up to them to kind of show up and show out. Injuries happen week to week, whether they're 1 week injuries, 2 week injuries, or full season injuries. That's when you have the time to kind of show up and show out. And if you've got Myles Garrett and you've got these other guys above you to kind of look to, that's a great thing to have. And I've said it multiple times, across podcasts, identity matters. It outlasts everything. So, it makes complete sense to bring in a guy who's doing that now. And I think that those people behind him, whether they're, if Sean McVay and everyone, they're all going to pick the guys who are doing the best, who are going to create the best team. It's not about name. It's not about anything. If Myles Garrett comes in and plays awfully, which is not going to happen, they're not just going to leave him on the field because he's Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? So all of that to say, I think that, it's only a positive thing if Donald comes back and Garrett's there. Those are great guys that they can learn from. If they're talking about younger players, then, they can just sit with Ty Simpson and watch and learn. But will they like it? I don't think so. They'll probably want to go somewhere else, and other teams will be willingly knocking down their door, especially mid-season before the trade deadline. So they might shoot themselves in the foot, but they've got a short-term vision, and I think that they're pursuing that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. No, I mean, the odd man out would be Braden Fisk. I believe it's if Aaron Donald comes back, it would be Braden Fisk. Yeah, he has high motor. He's proven he has some potential, but he's he would just beat odd man out. It's just pretty much that simple. Byron Young has been tremendous off the edge, right? Poona Ford is tremendous in the run stop, right? Myles Garrett is what Myles Garrett is. Kobie Turner has been a versatile pass rusher as well. He could really play all over the offensive line. They keep him more inside, sometimes on the edge, right? And then Aaron Donald, we all know what he is, right? So, man, I just, it's really it would literally be like Madden. really like bringing back Aaron Donald. Like I mean, like for like right now. I mean, like you said right now, James. Right, it's all speculation. Right, we don't know what's gonna happen and whatnot. But I mean, I think we'll find out maybe a month from now, or a month and a couple weeks from now. Certainly before August. Right. So I mean, if you were to come back, that would just change. I mean, like Miles Garrett already changes a lot. The addition of Aaron Donald, even though he's been away for 2 years, like we see the type of monster he still is, right? The football shape. Well, maybe not football shape, but the shape that he's in, right? I mean, it would just be something that I I, I really wouldn't know what to compare it to. Really, like have like two guys like that have been in the same team at the same time on the defensive line. Like I don't, at least probably not in my lifetime. I mean, like I mean, it would just be insane to witness. I mean, for Miles Garrett, really, like I really like the point that Billy touched on. Like, like it's like the leadership, right? Like the discipline. Is he gonna fit into the culture, right? I mean, it certainly seems like it. I mean, he has the talent. It seems like he has the right mindset. Playing for the Cleveland Browns is it's different, right? Because you're always behind. You're always in a deficit. You're always trying to play catch up, right? And obviously he's a tremendous player. Has tremendous has recorded tremendous stats. But like now he's playing for a winning team, and he's gonna be most of the time, right? Like, how is he gonna handle all that? How is he gonna handle, the winning, right? How's he gonna handle the pressure, really, for the first time in his career, right? There's expectations now, not only for him, but for the entire team. How's he gonna handle all that? I'm not saying that he's not up to par or anything like that, but I'm just really interested to see, how he handles that, right? I mean, I would think he's going to handle that perfectly, right? But this is literally a whole new ballgame for Myles Garrett, right? And then especially if Aaron Donald comes in, right? I mean, that would just be like just insane, just thinking about it alone, right? But I have no questions about his talent. It's just really about like how is he going to handle the day to day, the week to week, the expectations, the real expectations now, because this is the first time ever in his career that that he's in the top 10 alone in Super Bowl odds. Not that like that means anything, right? But I mean, there's a lot of chatter, and I'm really interested to see how he lives up to that, really.
Yeah. To kind of combine points, I think you're right, Billy. Like this is the short game for them. Obviously, this is the win or go home scenario that they've invested heavily in. But I think this also paints a pretty bleak picture of that 2023 class that's now going to be contract extension eligible for 2027. We know Steve Avila, Kobie Turner, and Puka Nacua are all going to need new deals. I think if Aaron Donald does come back, and I think if he comes back and the investment that they put on Myles Garrett and everything else, honestly, I wouldn't assume that Kobie Turner would be getting a deal in 2027. I think he would be the one that would leave. I think he would be the one that would go to a new team. He would get that bag because we know he's been fantastic. But he spoke about this actually. He was very. I like listening to Turner talk because he's very like just straight up when it comes to like the business aspect of the NFL. He doesn't beat around the bushes. He's like, look, man, like it is what it is. We know what the NFL can be. It can be a business. He's like, I'm glad to be here. I want to be here long term. But hey, we got Myles Garrett. So let's see what happens. He's like, if they want to give me an extension, great. If they don't, well, let's see how this year goes. And I think that's very smart, a smart way of looking at it. And I think because of his level of play, he can say those kinds of things because he's been fantastic. So it's like, okay, look, if the Rams don't want to give me an extension right now, and it's not a discussion that we're going to have because of Myles Garrett and the money you had to put towards him and XYZ, fine. I'm going to go get paid elsewhere because he is. Like, he can go to another team and get a bag. So, but it also just, it's very reminiscent to me of if also Aaron Donald comes in and then there's like some lost playing time there or whatever. It's reminiscent of that 2022 season where the Rams just became really, really bad. And I think they're treading that dangerous water of these other guys not getting paid because of the investment they're putting into the 2026 season, which then begs the question, if they don't win the Super Bowl, is this a complete failure? Is it Super Bowl or not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a while. Won a Super Bowl in, I mean, by everyone, the way that people paint the Rams, they aren't delivering on their expectations every single year. The last time they were there was 2021, right?
Yep.
And that's going to be 6 years come January. And so that is going to have fans frustrated. That's going to have the organization frustrated. And you can't really, and that's why like I love what they're doing in terms of like wanting to win now and wanting to kind of send Matthew Stafford off, whether he's going into retirement or going somewhere else. But you do need to future proof. And I do think that they're doing that organizationally. Like we see the people that they're bringing up behind the coordinators to do like the offensive line training, and like they seem to be doing that. But you don't want to step on players' toes, because I agree with you about Kobie Turner. I think that he's going to be just fine and is probably going to go somewhere else next year. And if he doesn't get the play time that he wants this year, then like maybe mid-season, some team's going to be calling up, let's need him. I mean, like, hey, well, we certainly could use him. So could you send him over here for this, and that? So I don't know. I don't know if I'm like concerned just yet about the future of the Rams, but they do want to be mindful of what they're doing, bringing in all these guys who, Myles Garrett is 30. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, he's got 5-ish, probably more years because he's Myles Garrett underneath him. But like a lot of his playing career is behind him now. And so, yes, you can pick those people up through the draft and they have Myles Garrett to learn underneath and all of that. But you don't want to frustrate those younger guys, really, because they are your future.
Yeah. Nah, heading into the offseason, the chatter was, will the Rams extend the 2023 draft class, right? And they it didn't seem like they were eager to do so. There was no urgency there. And now we all know why, right? Because they were trying to go after Myles Garrett, and they ended up getting him. And now that seems to be put on a pause. I think it's only not on a pause for Puka Nacua. I expect something to happen with Puka Nacua, but we'll see what happens with the allegations and whatnot. Obviously, he's still dealing with all that. But if and when that gets resolved, I expect Puka Nacua to sign that extension and become the highest paid wide receiver. Steve Avila, Kobie Turner may be the odd man out. I agree. But I really love how he handled himself in the interview as well, James. I mean, he showed professionalism, and he showed not only that, like he's secure within himself. He knows what he's accomplished so far with the Rams. He knows that he's a vital piece in this team, right? So, hey, if you want to sign me, great. If you don't, well, I'm gonna go dominate somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple. It would be the Rams' loss, right? Because I mean, the Rams selected Kobie Turner in the third round, and we all know how great they are selecting in later rounds. And he finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, defensive Rookie of the Year voting behind Jalen Carter and behind Will Anderson. Both are Pro Bowlers. Mm-hmm. So I mean, this guy's no slouch over here. I mean, sure, he's not a Pro Bowler himself, but like he's no slouch. So Turner has been tremendous for the defense. He's been tremendous for them in the playoffs as well. So I mean, I think him and Myles Garrett would do great work together. But yeah, I just love his professionalism. I love the way he carries himself. He's just a professional through and through. I really can't say enough about Turner. And if they were to ultimately lose him, that would be a gut punch for sure for the Rams, because he's vital. And more importantly, I think he reflects what the Rams are and what they try to be, right? Unfortunately, we just talked about Jackson. I mean, that's really unfortunate and whatnot. I think Turner is more of a reflection of that and what they try to be. So I mean, that's just as vital. I mean, like Billy, you talk about building an identity, right? That's the type of, I mean, maybe not on the field, but like off the field, right? Like as you are as an organization. I mean, that's just crucial. That's crucial. So Turner's crucial. Obviously, Garrett's going to be crucial. And I just love how he carried himself and just the confidence he has, really.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot that's going to start to take shape in this offseason here, the remainder of the offseason training camp. I don't think Puka Nacua gets a deal this year. I think he's going to get a deal next year because, like you just said, they have to wait for his off-field trouble to kind of sort itself out. But regardless, it would be a fumble if they did lose Kobie Turner, but I don't know. They may be putting themselves in a cap hell situation because of what they're investing in this year, what they've invested in with Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and now Myles Garrett. All three got contracts, and Trent McDuffie is now the highest paid quarterback, and then Myles Garrett got a little bit of a raise, but they're still having to pay for that contract since they traded for him. Excuse me. Oh my God. Whew, sorry.
Oh, no.
I know I'm dying too much news. But anyway, thanks everybody for listening. This has been Roundtable Rams, episode number 22. We will be back next week. Monday is going to be the last practice for the OTA program for the Rams, and they canceled minicamp, so there's not going to be much there. But we're going to be talking about position battles. We're going to be talking about all the offseason stuff, heading into training camp, which is at the end of July. Hopefully, nobody else gets arrested or gets into any more trouble, and then we can go into training camp and just start talking about everything going on. Will Ty Simpson be that backup quarterback? Who's going to be the linebacker next to Nate Landman? Who's going to be that starting left tackle if Jackson does get suspended? There's a lot to go over. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back.